Well, I don't really think you can be replaced, but if you want to say that, go for it.
Well, I appreciate that, Joe. Thanks a lot.
All right, it's 7 o'clock. I'd like to welcome everyone to the January 2022 meeting of the Mira Mesa Town Council. Hey, we had hoped to have this meeting live and in person, but as everyone knows, with the new Omicron virus and the uptick in the number of COVID cases being reported, we are going to go with a month to see what happens and try to go back to live meetings as soon as possible. We have a lot on the agenda tonight, and I'm going to ask everyone, if you are not speaking, to be sure to mute yourself. I've already heard a couple of bounce backs coming from hearing my own voice 2 seconds later. We will go ahead and mute you if we need to, but I'm going to ask everyone to go ahead and take care of that themselves. We are going to start tonight, as we always do, with our first responders. And tonight is a very important topic that they are going to cover for us. So I will go immediately to recognizing Officer Christina Santos and let her take the floor and do a couple of additional introductions.
Hi, Happy New Year, everyone. So first of all, we do have my Lieutenant Dave Bautista, that's going to be joining us today. So I don't know, are you on there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here. Yeah, I'm here.
Perfect. Okay. LT, did you want to speak on it, or did you want me to?
No, I can go ahead and go into it. I think something that's on everybody's mind right now, if you haven't heard about it, are the vehicle fires that have been set around Mira Mesa. I think everybody's heard about that by now. And so I just wanted to kind of give you a follow-up where we are with the investigation. Yeah, our Metro Arson Strike Team is involved. They're the lead investigative unit on the cases. It does seem like many of them are connected or related. And I can assure you that the masked for short, they're doing everything that they can do to apprehend the person that's responsible, to identify them and apprehend them. They're working several different leads, several good leads, to try to determine exactly who is responsible and hold them accountable. Luckily, as far as I know, nobody has been hurt. It's all been property damage related. Really, that's, there are some things that I can't disclose investigative wise. So I'll just be upfront with that. But I want you to know that we are working different things proactively and reactively to identify who the person is or persons responsible for the crimes. So does anybody have any questions?
Where are these fires?
Yeah. There you go. We're the locations. We're hearing that it's various condo and apartment complexes around Mira Mesa. Is that correct?
For the most part, yes. I think there are a couple that are not in the in complexes that appear to be related. Of course, MAST is still looking at all of that to determine if there are some commonalities before saying that they are related, but they want to make sure that they're following up on all of the information that they are getting. Patrol is doing a great job, with the resources we do have in the field to, do our best from the prevention side. But this is, it has become a little, it's kind of branched out a little bit from what I know. So it's a little more random as to where the locations are, but you're right. Most of them are condo / apartment complexes throughout Mira Mesa.
Question I'm hearing the most is, are there additional patrols in the Mira Mesa area, especially around the parts of the community where there are a concentration of these complexes?
Well, all of the patrol officers do know, and time permitting, they've been directed to, of course, we have other radio calls that we have to tend to throughout the command, including, Rancho Penasquitos and Scripps Ranch and all the other areas, Rancho Bernardo, even up into the Wild Animal Park. You all know how big the command is. So time permitting, they will do extra patrols in the area. The answer to that is yes. They are all aware, and they are doing their very very best.
A couple questions in the chat, Barry.
Yeah, I'm seeing a couple of the questions that are coming up right now. I know they said, we live in a complex. What should we do? If you have any neighbors that have surveillance camera video or anything like that, talk to your neighbors. Please contact the police. It says best way to report any suspicious person. If you see anything actively happening, please call 911. If it's just something that you would like to report because you just have that sixth sense that, it may be something suspicious, call the non-emergency number and we can get that out. Let's see some of the questions that we see. On the news, they said there was a suspect that was detained. There was a detention this morning. Yes, that is correct. Our MASH unit is working on their investigation.
One of the questions was, were the videos from Ring cameras, et cetera, helpful in the investigation? Is this something that we should perhaps invest in?
Christina, I can talk on that. Something that I heard, and I don't know how true it is, but it sounds to me as though some of the condo associations may not be permitting video from, personal video. So I don't know how true that is. Does anybody know anything about that? Like Ring cameras and things like that. I thought that Ring cameras were, they're pretty prolific throughout. I mean, I have them at my house, and I think they're a great tool. We at the police department have been able to, use those sorts of things to solve other crimes as well. So, does anybody have any information on that? That's just something that I heard.
I know from having an HOA myself that it may be a case of they need to go through a procedure to mount a camera externally, to replace the doorbell, etc.
Yeah, that's possible. Any video that anybody has that may show anybody lurking around or any vehicles driving through parking lots slowly, anything like that would be extremely helpful. Even if you don't think it's related, directly, it could be something that could be used, to try to identify those that are responsible. That's, anything is possible, I think, at this point. So we just want to make sure we get as much information as we can from the community. You all are our eyes and ears, of course, when we can't be there. And if you have information or somebody that has information, please let myself or Christina know so that we can pass that information on to the lead investigating unit within the department. They've been doing it for a long time. They're great at it. There's no doubt in my mind that we will have somebody identified soon, based on all the work that they're doing. So behind the scenes that you all may not be seeing, aside from patrols that we're doing as time permits, the directive patrols to try to get up in the area, in the Mira Mesa area more frequently.
And if you do
Christine.
have video or any information, and like I said, if it's something that's actively happening, please call 911. If it's just something that you say, you know what, I kind of just have that feeling that the police need to know this, please email me. You do have my email information, and I'll put that in the chat room again. Please email that to me, and I can make sure I get that out to our investigators.
So just to repeat for everyone on the call, if they see someone who is suspicious, they think suspicious activity is going on, 911 would be the best route to call for immediate service. If they've seen something that's not immediately happening, but they have, as you said, that suspicion, then emailing you would be the best.
Absolutely. If you have any video or anything that you, any information that you would like for me to pass on to the investigators, please give me a call and I can make sure. Just a reminder, I cannot dispatch from my location. So getting an email out to me and saying, oh, I saw this person over here, I won't be able to dispatch. So if you see something suspicious, please make sure you do call 911 or the non-emergency number. But if it's a video or some information that you would like for me to pass on to the investigators, please share that with me with my email and I will make sure to pass that along.
And this is one of those times where we say, do not use the Get It Done app. It's not going to get to you fast enough. Is that correct?
That is correct. All right, I'm putting out my email address to everyone just in case you don't have that.
Okay, and just to wrap up, am I correct that so far we've had 30 vehicles and 3 carports and a dumpster destroyed in about a 3-week period?
Christina, do you know the exact numbers? I don't know the exact numbers, but I know the one up off of Calle Cristobal, that was Caminito La Bar. That was, I think that one destroyed the most property, if I'm not mistaken. And I think it was in the neighborhood of 17 cars were burned, along with some structure. I think that's what I recall.
That is correct,
but
LT. Caminito La Bar
yeah.
was 17. Summerdale had another vehicle. And then Capricorn had 3.
And this
And then we-
morning was 6 and a dumpster?
Correct.
Okay, I want to make sure we have a lot of people here tonight. If anyone has another question, go ahead and put it in the chat. We want to make sure to cover any of your questions tonight because this is going to be ongoing until this person's caught. All right, I see a thank you to the fire department. Absolutely. Okay. Does this thing happen during the day or night? I think they've mostly been at night and early morning. Is that correct?
They've all been in the early morning hours. Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Someone is asking who's responsible for towing of the car on Teresa? I'm not familiar with that location.
Yes, sir. There is a car that was burned there. Again, that was a, my understanding is that one was in the street, parked in the street. Whoever the owner is would be responsible for that, for removing that vehicle.
Okay, and another one I see is a question I've answered for a couple of people today, but I want to make sure we get the word out. Compensation for those who do not have comprehensive, that have liability only on a vehicle that is burned. My understanding, and please correct me if I'm wrong, is that the Victims' Compensation Fund from the state will not pay for this type of property damage.
Christina, are you familiar with that? I'm not familiar with what that fund will and will not pay for.
I am not familiar with that. I can look into it tomorrow and I can get back to Barry to let her know, but I apologize. I do not know the info on that.
No, we'd love to get confirmation because reading through it on the internet, it seems to specifically exclude covering something, a burned vehicle. Unless if the property burned is something like a wheelchair, it would be covered. It's a medical necessity, but just your vehicle, if you don't have comprehensive to pay for it, you are out of luck. Okay, do we have any more questions we haven't covered? How are the fires being set? We're hearing blowtorch.
I have not heard that. I think the investigators are still trying to work through that information and try to figure that out. I don't, as far as I know, there's nothing definitive on that.
Okay, that had been floating around social media, so someone asked just now. Okay. How long will the burned car be allowed to remain in the neighborhood with shattered glass all over the street? It's been there for 2 weeks. I believe you had answered that earlier, that the vehicle's parked on the street. The removal is the responsibility of the vehicle owner. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes, that we may be able to look into parking enforcement, going over and taking a look at it and see if there's anything, notifications or anything like that we might be able to put on it. Christina, could we look into that tomorrow?
Yes, sir. Is that going to be the one on Teresa?
Yes.
Okay, we'll put that out there.
Okay, and are the cars needed for evidence, or are they good to move out, the ones that are in the parking lots?
As far as I know, Mass has already conducted the investigations, and I haven't heard anything about the vehicles not being moved. So if you know, the scenes, for instance, County to LaBar and some of the others, Summerdale, I'm sure the vehicles can be moved at this point.
Okay, we had another question about vehicle removal. What if the owner can't afford to pay to have it towed away?
On that end, you know, that's like I said, it is their responsibility. If, and as far as not being able to pay for it, I really don't have an answer for that.
And if
Sorry.
it's in a carport, then I would believe that your HOA can do a private tow also, if they want to pay for that tow.
Right.
Okay. We did have a question again about increased patrols. I believe it's not a case of increased patrols, but the patrols are more aware and taking more observation of areas that have condos and apartments. Is that correct?
Yes, and with their free time, you know, they know to spend more time in the area if they have the time available, aside from other radio calls and other responsibilities that we do have. So that they're well aware of everybody in the command is well aware of what's going on, and know that it's very important to spend as much time as they possibly can in that area to look for suspects, watch for unusual activity, especially during those hours when it's occurring. So that they definitely are spending more time up there, I'm sure.
Okay. I think that's the end of the questions that we have. Someone asked, should we not park in our carports? We'll make that our last question for tonight.
You know, I don't know if I would say I would go that far. I can't really, you know, direct anybody where to park. I think these are random acts, and it's so difficult to predict, you know, if and when the next one will occur. So to say don't park in your carport, you know, maybe it's really up to you. You know, I can't really say that that's going to prevent anything. So it's you know, as we said, there's the one on Teresa that we're looking into to see if it's connected, and that was on the street. So I can't really say that not parking in your carport would protect you anymore.
We did have one more question pop up, which is something that I had asked, I think in an email this morning. So we'll end on this note. Is there reward money? Is Crime Stoppers putting out, you know, the $1,000 reward for information leading to prosecution? Any such program out there right now?
I do not. Christina, do you know of any anything that's been relayed to Crime Stoppers. I do not. I can certainly, that's going to be the decision of the lead investigating unit, which is Mass. I can certainly talk to the sergeant there and see if that's something they have considered to identify the person responsible or persons responsible, and see if that's something they want to consider and push forward.
Okay.
Yeah, as
excellent.
far as earlier today, when you emailed me, Barry, I did reach out and nothing as of yet. It's still early in the investigation, so nothing as right now, but I will definitely let you know if we do hear anything about that.
Wonderful. So if we can get an update this week on both, is there a reward being offered, and also what resources might be available to vehicle owners whose cars have been burned, who either do not have comprehensive or cannot afford to have them towed away, we can pass that on to the community. Hopefully there'll be no more of them, but at least maybe we can get some assistance for those who have already burned. Officer Santos, Lieutenant Batista, thank you for being here tonight. I know there's a lot happening right now, and we will be keeping in touch with you very closely over the next few days. Hopefully there'll be an arrest forthcoming. If not, maybe we can find ways to make the situation a little safer.
Thank you.
Certainly hope so. Thank you very much. Thank you for having us. Appreciate it.
Glad to. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
All right, do we have Captain Raimondo here from the fire department? Okay, I did not see Captain Raimondo. Okay. Yeah. All right, so we'll move on. Next is President's report and approval of the December minutes. The minutes from the meeting have been at the website. If we hear no corrections, additions, etc., we will go ahead and accept those minutes as written. Okay, hearing nothing, I will go ahead and mark those minutes as accepted. As for a president's report, a lot of that was covered in the presentation we just had. We have these arson incidents going on. Be vigilant, keep an eye out. It's kind of hard to say what to do if they're striking at 2 in the morning. There are not many of us who want to get up at 2 in the morning and walk around the neighborhood and run into an arsonist. But if you do have security cameras, make sure they're pointed as close to the direction of the vehicles as you can be. If you're out and about, watch what's going on around you. And we will continue to communicate whatever we get from the police department so that everyone is familiar with what's going on with the situation. And we will pursue the 2 questions we asked about regarding any kind of assistance for those who've been burned, and whether or not there is a reward outstanding, because someone has to have seen something. And we want that information to get passed on as soon as possible. I'm going to go ahead and turn the meeting over to Councilmember Chris Cate. He has joined us tonight, as is our tradition, to install the 2022 Board of Directors and to give us an update on what's happening with District 6. Councilmember Cate.
Thank you, Barry, and good evening, everybody. Thanks so much for having me here, which will be the last year I'm able to do this, as I'm done at the end of 2022, but obviously not going anywhere. Still will be involved long after I'm gone, since I'm a Mira Mesa resident and love this community. So even though I won't be in this in an official capacity next year, you're not getting rid of me that easy. So just be forewarned on that front. But yeah, it's my honor to recognize and swear in the board. For purposes of Zoom, we will be brief. So I'm going to ask all of the board members to please raise your right hand and answer the following question, which is very simple. Do you promise to faithfully uphold the duties of your office with the Mira Mesa Town Council and to support the Town Council's efforts to improve and protect the Mira Mesa community?
I do.
Perfect. Thank you very much. You're all sworn in now. Do you want to go right in, Barry? Okay, I will.
Jump right in.
Perfect. Well, first off, I appreciate Barry leading off with Officer Santos and Lieutenant Bautista to address what is a very important and obviously very traumatic issue that's going on within our community, and trying to address what has been pretty devastating over the holiday period. And obviously, anything that's our office can provide in terms of assistance to the police departments and the Mass unit, we will do so. But I know that at least this investigation is in good hands with the police department and figured out and trying to get a suspect and hold them accountable for what they've done. So just thank you for the police department for being on tonight and for everything that you do. Gonna just kick off with a few updates on some of the key projects that we've been working on, and hopefully we're able to get started, if not complete by the time I leave office by the end of December. These are things that we have provided and talked about for a number of years, and starting to see progress on a lot of these fronts. The first one is with the epicenter. I know Michaela is on the call, and I'll start off by saying that we have a really tremendous advocate in the mayor's office for the community of Mira Mesa, and Michaela. She works tirelessly, and I know, even though she probably can't say, that she goes a little bit above and beyond for Mira Mesa and trying to bend the mayor's ear on some stuff. So appreciate Michaela being here and all that she's done, but she's been in the thick of this as well too, in terms of the epicenter. As you may recall, last year, last year now, excuse me, the county through Supervisor Lawson Reamer is working with the city of San Diego and allocating over $3 million for improvements to the epicenter. They are working with the city in regards to programming now. They've done a facilities assessment in terms of the need for improvements at the building. Right now, what we're hoping to do is some community outreach events where the county gets to hear from the community in terms of programming and what we want to see happen at the epicenter. And so I know the mayor's office and our office will work closely with the community and the county to get folks involved on that outreach so that they can participate in the process to hear from the county. So we're not quite there yet. We're working with them, though, very closely, and hopefully more to come in the near term in terms of that outreach efforts. Hopefully by the end of this month or early next month, that outreach will begin. The second project that's really important, obviously, is Gold Coast and Parkdale. Obviously, we were able to get over $11 million allocated. We had a great ceremony back in August of last year to commemorate that and to have the funding go through. We're working right now with the mayor's office and engineering capital projects to get an updated timeline. But just to recall everybody in terms of a rough timeline, the city is hopefully going to be awarding contracts to the contractor for this project in the May timeframe. Our hope is soon following that, we would work with that contractor as well as the city and do outreach efforts to all the homeowners and residents along those two streets, so they get an idea of schedule, timelines, potential impacts to their everyday lives, knowing that this is going to be a very comprehensive project. It's going to take a very long time and be somewhat disruptive to the community. If you recall, we did 2 of these night sessions prior to the $11 million being allocated when we're doing the initial survey work to see what was going on with those 2 streets. Our hope is to do something similar to that, so that that residents feel like they are made aware of what is happening and what the project will entail. The hope is to have completion of the project by June of 2023. I know, again, it's a long time, but this is a very big project. Not many of these are done. We're doing a full street reconstruction, but don't feel like this has gone by the wayside or anything like that. We're just in the process of finding the contractor. Then once that is done, there will be extensive outreach to the community to understand what goes into this project. So more on that to come, but just want to kind of give a brief update on where we're at. The next is the extension of Carroll Canyon Road. I know that, again, this has been top of mind for a lot of folks. We're hopeful that the study that is looking at alignments will be done in early part of this year. Once that is completed, that will be the basis for doing a budget and timeline for a future CIP project. I actually had a meeting this morning on another topic, but made staff aware that this is top of mind for me, and hopeful that we can get some type of funding, at least get the project started and underway before I leave office at the end of this year. The next is the community plan updates. Right now, we're hopeful to have a discussion draft in either January or February, and then a draft plan by June, which the EIR will be released at that time, and then public hearings starting in the summer and fall, with the hope of that coming to this council before the end of December as well too. So there's a timeline on that. Lastly is the Mira Mesa Community Park. In December, the city just approved about $10 million to help the funding gap for the project. And then 100% design of the project is anticipated to be done by February. And then from there, we will proceed hopefully with the timeline for construction and award, things of that sort, to get the contractor in line. That was a lot. Jeff can correct me if I missed anything on that when we get to questions, but hopefully I'm somewhat accurate on those dates and timelines for those projects. Real briefly, just on a couple of things related to budgets. I'm fortunate enough to be selected to be the chair of the budget committee once again for this year. And we are in the thick of that process. Right now, a memo went out to all the council offices indicating that the budget priority memo, which I talked about a lot at this venue for the last 7 years, those memos are due on January 14th. If you have any additional streets, projects, things that you feel are important, they can be a stop sign, it could be a street lights, traffic signal, whatever you think is important that you want to see within the community of Mira Mesa, to please email us and let us know what that is before the 14th, so that way we may include it within our budget priority memo. This serves the basis of telling the mayor's office what's important for all the communities throughout the city that they want to see funded. The mayor will be releasing his budget on April 15th. Following that, we will be holding our hearings and we'll be hopefully coming back to this group, which we've done before in the past, with kind of an update. Our hope is to also do another budget town hall sometime in the May timeframe. Typically in the past, we've done it with our previous independent budget analyst, Andrea Tevlin. She has retired. We are in the process of searching for a new IBA. We've hired a recruitment firm to assist us in that. Our hope is probably in the January, February timeframe is to be doing some type of community outreach. We don't know what that looks like, is to hear feedback from members of our communities about what they want to see in a new IBA. The hope is to bring somebody on by the end of April. We would have a new IBA in place. It's a pretty aggressive timeline, but one that we're hopeful to get done. It's kind of a weird time to bring on a new IBA in the thick of a budget, but it's obviously a very important role. And I know all of you have heard from Andrea before in the past, and it's a pretty invaluable service that the IBA provides. So we want to get this one right. So there will be some ideas to hearing feedback from the community. Last but not least, and this goes to my earlier pitch about Michaela and what she's done, we have received the list of streets that will be funded in the 2022-2023 timeframe by the mayor through his Sexy Streets initiative. For Mira Mesa, the streets that were included in there, and District 6 got, I think I'm allowed to say this, I was told we got the most amount of streets within that priority list. So don't tell any other council members. But for Mira Mesa, the streets that will be receive funding for repair are Camino Ruiz from Miramar Road to Jade Coast, and Mira Mesa Boulevard to Reagan Road, and then Jade Coast Drive from Camino Ruiz to Weston Hill. So this is in addition to what we already have funded. This is in addition to $11 million for Goes to Parkdale. So a lot of money is being allocated to Mira Mesa for streets. And so we're thankful for the mayor's office and all of you for all of your advocacy and getting that funding. So with that, Madam President, I'm happy to take any questions that anybody has.
I see Jeff has his hand up.
Hi, Chris.
Is that right?
Well, I've got three questions, comments. First of all, thank you very much for pushing along Carroll Canyon Road. That's a big help. Without doing that, I rather doubt that would happen anytime soon. So that's really good. On the Mira Mesa Community Park, you said that $10 million have been allocated to that. Is that the unallocated money that's in the FBA fund? That's the money that was moved into that?
Correct.
Okay.
We allocated from the FBA to the actual CIP, that
Right.
$10 million.
Okay, and is that enough? Does the city consider that enough to fund that project completely?
We hope, and I'll let Michaela, I can speak from my experience on some other projects. Typically, we won't know for sure until we go out to bid on the design. So it's kind of a key point is from the design to advertise and what the bids come in at. With construction costs, where they're going. If that is a thing that does happen, I will say in years past, and the mayor's office, and I'm going to speak to another project, has really been receptive to ensuring that the funding gets there. The project I'm speaking to is Hickman Field, where we saw a gap that the mayor added through the same action $1 million to make up the difference in the shortfall for that project. So I hope it does. I think just we won't know really for sure until we go out to bid and see what those bids come in at.
Is it enough for the city to put it out to bid?
I can hop in. So we actually have a meeting with the council member on Thursday and city staff from various departments, but the $10 million won't cover, kind of as the council member alluded to. However, there are bonds from 3 routes that would be available to cover the difference. So we'll be discussing that on Thursday. City staff's pretty confident that they can cover the cost beyond the 10 million.
Okay, so they'll cover it with 3 routes money that's expected.
Correct. And the good thing is that we can get that money early, even though the construction on the houses haven't been complete.
Okay. Okay, one last question, Chris. You mentioned the community plan update. Although I don't want to see this delayed any longer than necessary, there are a lot of issues with it yet. We haven't seen any impact analysis. Only the most minimal traffic impacts, no impacts on schools. They've done this thing with the park master plan where they don't have to provide parks anymore, except for a little bit on site. So, and they're talking about a lot of housing. They're talking about adding 24,000 units, almost doubling the population of Mira Mesa, almost all of it in apartments along Mira Mesa Boulevard. So, I think, again, all it'd be nice to get this finished and out the door. We really want to make sure this is going to work before this goes to city council and gets approved.
No, of course, and that's why there's a process, right? I mean, it's going to be a whole nother year before we even get to that point, and we'll know more once the draft is released, and then the EIR comes out in the summer, and then there's a whole process that has to unfold for that as well too. And similar to what we've done in other plan updates throughout the city, and obviously what you just mentioned, I have communicated to staff as well too, in terms of how do we ensure that if there is going to be added density to these communities, that they're going to see the infrastructure improvements to be able to accommodate those improvements. We heard that loud and clear, and heard it loud and clear in areas like Claremont, who's going through plan updates. University City is going through a plan update as well too. We just did Kearney Mesa as well too. So those are all important aspects that need to be included within the plan, and I think all of us are kind of eager to see a draft and see where we can ensure that those infrastructure improvements are going to be spelled out and laid out.
Okay, we'll see what the EIR says.
Yeah,
that's really
absolutely
fast to get an EIR out, though. I think they're going to have that done by the summer.
That's what we're told.
Do we have any other questions from the audience? I see Pam has her hand up.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the additional streets sounds like a good thing to have for Mira Mesa. We really need it. In our neighborhood, there's one little street that is really, really bad. It is Antrim in between Gold Coast and Port Royal, and the perpendicular to it, the stretch of Port Royal beyond what was recently done. And I keep wondering every time we do a neighborhood walk and think that maybe those little streets that are so bad that might get overlooked somehow could be added on to one of those bigger projects. It's really frustrating, I know, for the neighbors that live there.
Can you email us that street?
I will.
Perfect, thank you.
I have already done that. Denise has it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
And to wrap up, I'm just going to clarify, you need input from the community on things like streets, lighting, traffic signals, et cetera.
Sidewalks
By what date?
by January 14th, preferably earlier so we can include it within our memo. But any, and we'll put out on social media as well too, kind of a call for things. But any ideas, projects, things that you feel are incredibly important for Mira Mesa, however minor you may think it is, let us know what those things are. I mean, we understand those things are incredibly important to the quality of life of Mira Mesa residents, and we're going to advocate it. It can be, again, a stop sign, sidewalk, you name it. We want to make sure that we're communicating that and understanding that that's a priority for our communities.
Excellent. And we will go ahead and push out that message so that we can get everyone's information to you.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for
Happy New Year, everybody.
swearing us in for the 8th time.
Happy New Year.
Right.
Happy New Year.
Happy
And
New
thank you
Year.
all for your support of our Toys for Tots event. Thank you so much, Barry, so Jeff and Pam out there, all of you. Thank you so much. That was an incredible event, and hopefully something we're able to even continue after I'm gone. I think it's a great event for Mira Mesa. So thank you all for your support of that event.
Absolutely. Thank you for making that happen. All right, we're moving on now to government and community resources. And I just want to make a first mention that later in the meeting, we have open forum. It's 2 minutes. You can speak on items not on tonight's agenda. If you have an interest, message me in the chat and I will put you on the list. So first up, we have Mira Mesa Community Planning Group, Jeff Stevens, Chair.
Okay, so we didn't meet in December. We normally don't, since no one wants to meet that close to Christmas. We will be meeting in January, but it will be on the Thursday after the third Monday, which is the 20th. The reason for that is the planning group meets on the third Monday of each month, but in both January and February, the third Monday falls on a holiday. So in both those cases, it will be on the Thursday immediately after that. And both of those will be on Zoom, as we've been doing for quite some time now. I would encourage people to look at what's being proposed for the community plan update. I've just put an address into the chat, which is the planning group page on the town council website that has links to all of the information about the proposals for the community plan. It also has information about our upcoming meetings and basically anything you want to know about planning in Mira Mesa. You'll either find on that page or a link to on that page. If you find anything that isn't there, you can always email me. The community plan update subcommittee has been meeting immediately prior to the planning group meetings. So the planning group meetings typically are at 7 and the plan update meetings are at 5:30 immediately before it. And all of those meetings are open to the public and everyone is encouraged to attend. That's all I have, unless there are any questions.
That mute doesn't come off easily. All right, thank you, Jeff. Next up, we have Mira Mesa Community Recreation Group, Joe Frickel.
Well, there's nothing too major going on. We have great expectations that Wagenheim is going to be started within a week. On the 13th, they're supposed to put up fencing and construction should start before February. So we're really waiting for that. Sauk is going to be right behind that, another couple months. There was something interesting. We had a meeting with the Hourglass Committee with Miramar College, and they are redoing their master plan over there. And they asked for anything that we think we need to do to improve Miramar's campus. And I offered that the desert that they have on Hillary and Black Mountain should be renovated and made into, a sports field or anything other than a vernal pool preserve, which it is now. So if anybody has any additional ideas what we should do with that campus, apparently they're open to doing all kinds of stuff. So please let me know. And who knows if they get funding from a source, it could be really remarkable what could happen. But when you drive up Hillary and along Black Mountain and you see that site out there with all those weeds on it, it's just really disappointing. And I think we should, even though they spent $2 million to do that, I hope that the people that were behind that have moved on, and we can maybe renovate that and do something to enhance just the college and the community. So
You can't do anything with the vernal pools.
pardon?
You can't do anything with the vernal pools.
Oh, yes, we can. We've gone through this with the state and the federal government for years. And not only can you move them, you can create them. You can put them wherever they never were. Jeff knows about that very well. Over the last 25 years, we've done so much mitigation and processing on vernal pools, it would make your head spin.
Yeah,
So
it's not an easy thing to do, but it is possible.
yes, anything is possible with vernal pools. And the ones on Miramar campus are really poor. There's one on by Challenger that we could fence off 20 feet by 30 feet, and it would be way better than what's on Miramar College. So there's a lot of possibilities. That's it.
All right, anyone have any questions for Joe? All right, thanks, Joe. From Miramar College, is President Lundberg here? Okay. Mira Mesa Branch Library, Ina Gibson.
Happy New Year, everyone. I'm glad you got to me before we had to close. And there may be some slamming of doors and such as the closing procedure has begun. I'd like to remind everyone that the city is following the state mandate. Masks are required to enter the building. We are not offering any exemptions. We are offering accommodations for anyone who can't wear a mask. We'll bring items out to you. We'll happily do what we can over the phone, but we're trying to keep everyone safe, and that will go through at least January 15th. We are starting to bring back some programming. We're fortunate that we have a courtyard so we can offer it in an outdoor space. For larger programs, we've been sharing space at the community park across the street. So currently we have, beginning genealogy on the 2nd and 4th Mondays. We have a elementary school age story time from 3 to 3:30 every Tuesday. We have Beyond the Playground story time in the community park every Wednesday at 10:30 to 11:30. And for those people wanting to practice English, We have an EOL conversation cafe every Wednesday at 12. We have Mandarin Chinese story time on the 2nd and 4th Thursdays at the Mira Mesa Community Park. And that's just restarting. Some of you who may have attended in the past, Candy is once again able to come back and do this. We have our chess club for all ages. Every Thursday afternoon, we have Green Thumbs, a garden club for kids with stories. Every other Thursday, and the first and third Saturdays, we have our therapy dogs joining us for Pause to Read with lots of hand sanitizer, et cetera, et cetera. And the big thing we have this month, and I'm sure many people are interested in, is our Friends of the Library book sale on the 29th of January from 11 to 5. Are there any questions? All right, come check out the library. We're here.
Excellent. Thank you, Ina. And last in our government and community section, Scripps Mesa Fireworks. Michael Spencer, are you here? Okay. We'll move on now to elected officials. First up, San Diego Unified School District, Sabrina Bazzo.
Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year. So I wanted to start out by saying that we got back on New Year's Day. We were able to attend the Rose Bowl parade, and we're very proud to be able to watch Mira Mesa High School marching band, and that I think there were only about just a handful of other bands, high school bands. There were also bands from universities as well, and citywide honor bands for LA and some other groups. But it was fantastic, and I'd never been to the Rose Bowl parade. If you haven't been, I'd highly encourage you to go. And it was just so exciting. And this year's theme was actually education, so it was just so timely, and it was really special being there with the principal, our interim superintendent, some of the other school board members, and I was very proud to be there on behalf of representing Mira Mesa and our fantastic high school and music program. Oh, also the visual and performing arts director was there as well. So that was kind of the highlight, and a fantastic way also to start the year. I would also want to add that coming up, we are down to 2 finalists for the superintendent search. And I'm just going to check my calendar because there's actually a day for community input. It's going to be Monday, January 10th. And I believe on the website, I don't know if they have the exact schedule down, but there's opportunities for the public to attend and listen to the 2 finalists and learn more about them. One of them is Lamont Jackson, our interim superintendent, and then a lady who is a superintendent at for a district up in Washington State, who's a very strong candidate as well. So that's going to be coming up. They're going to have a full day of meeting business and community leaders, as well as going to schools. And as I mentioned, speaking with parents and interested community members as well. School started today. We offered free testing kits to all students that were coming back to school. I have not heard yet what our COVID rates are at the schools. As of today, I'm a little worried, but hopefully it sounded like things went fairly smoothly from what I can tell. And we're just going to be starting looking forward to starting a fantastic year and kicking things off for the school year. So I would say that's probably the highlights right now, unless anyone has any questions.
Do we have any questions?
Joe Frichtel.
Yeah, I don't really have a question, but I want to say one thing. If people in Mira Mesa and San Diego want our school district to keep going forward, they need to support Lamont Jackson. That guy has been inside of this institution for years. And when I've worked with him, even though sometimes he doesn't like my opinion, he does what's best for everybody. And I'm really leery of putting this in the hands of somebody from a different state when we have all these problems going on, that we need somebody that knows what's happening. And I encourage everybody to support Lamont Jackson to be the new superintendent. He's a dynamic guy. He knows what's going on. And he fits all the requirements that we have for the school district.
Any other questions for Sabrina? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, San Diego Community College District Board Member Bernie Rennerson.
Don't see him.
Okay. Didn't think he was here. From the Office of City Council Member Chris Cate, I have two people to introduce, Sheldon Zeman and Denise Torres.
Hi, Barry. It's Sheldon. Hi, everybody. This is going to be my last meeting for Mira Mesa and PQ, etc. You're in good hands with Denise Torres. I'd like to introduce her to the group. Her name again is Denise Torres. She'll be taking over my spot. I would like to thank Michaela for her invaluable help with Mira Mesa and PQ and Sereno Valley. She's really helped me a lot. And Denise, I know you're listening. Please tune into what Michaela has to say and help. She'll be a great help to you. Also Barry and Joe and Jeff and everybody. I've come to know you the last 4 months. It's been fun, especially before the meetings. We've had a laugh or two. So again, everybody, I just want to say thank you. You have a great communities and have a great new year. And I'll be taking on Kearney Mesa and the Claremont area. So good luck to all of you. And, you're in good hands with Denise, that's for sure.
Hello, everyone. I'm Denise. Moving forward, I will be attending the meetings for Mira Mesa, Sereno Valley, and Rancho Penasquitos. Looking forward to working with everyone. Please bear with me if I'm new to terms or projects and everything planning wise. I'm still getting familiar with all the things that's going on in San Diego. So yeah, thank you very much for welcoming me.
Sheldon, thank you for everything that you've done for our community. I'm going to miss you. Our loss is Kearney Mesa's gain. And as you know, I have a project going on there, so I'm not going to completely lose touch with you.
Thank you very much, Barry.
Denise, welcome aboard. We're going to take good care of you.
Thank you.
Any questions you have, ask any of us. We will help you find the information. We'll help you understand anything that's not clear. And we're looking forward to working with you.
Thank you.
If I could just say something to Joe, don't forget, Joe, when you start to plant those trees, let Denise know or myself or Chris Cate know in the park, okay? I guess it's getting pretty soon. You might be doing that, huh?
Yeah, well, you invited to the groundbreaking.
Okay, invite me. I'll be there. Thank you.
Go. All right. Does anyone have questions for either Sheldon or Denise? Okay. Thank you both.
Thank you, Barry.
Next up, from the Office of Assemblyman Brian Mainshine, Rob Knudsen, if he's here. Okay. From the Office of Mayor Todd Gloria, Michaela Volk.
Hi, everybody. Happy New Year. Michaela from Mayor Todd Gloria's office. Thank you, Sheldon. And I know Councilmember Cate logged off, but I thanked him for the kind words. I love to represent Mira Mesa. And, all of the advocacy comes from Barry and Jeff. So thank you for always highlighting priorities in the area so that I can bring them to the mayor's attention. I wanted to invite you all to the biggest party of the year, the State of the City address. Due to COVID, it will be virtual again this year. But we invite you to tune in on CW5, January 12th at 6 p.m. I will post information in the chat, but Mayor will be going over his key issue priority areas. As you heard Councilmember Cate touch on, investing in infrastructure such as our roads, building more housing, such as Jeff mentioned with different community plan updates, leading on climate action, and comprehensively addressing homelessness. I have gotten inquiries from Mira Mesa residents on different homeless issues in the neighborhood. And I have seen that once it's brought to my attention and I bring in the neighborhood policing division, it seems that it is addressed, or there is a hot team that does patrol specifically for Mira Mesa. And so they include that site for their routes. And with the progressive enforcement model, it looks like that's been working, or the residents stop. They don't really follow up with me. So that's what makes me assume that it was handled. So if you are seeing that in your neighborhood, please feel free to raise it to Barry's attention or to me as well. And exciting news, you may or may not know, but when the mayor was 10 years old, he was the runner-up for a Mayor for a Day contest. It was then Mayor Maureen O'Connor's administration. And so we brought that back. And this year's winner is actually from Mira Mesa. She's a second grade student from Sandburg Elementary, and she's going to be giving the Pledge of Allegiance at the State of the City. She wrote in her essay about addressing litter. And so with a pizza party for all those that participate. So we will be introducing her parents to Barry, and she could potentially partner with the town council's cleanup initiative. And we'll be seeing if she can make a guest appearance at one of the town council meetings. So that's pretty exciting. And then just two last things. Republic Services, we have been getting some inquiries from District 6 residents on that. As you know, they are a private hauler. They're not part of City of San Diego's Environmental Services Department. But if you are facing issues with collection, or you haven't gotten a collection, there is an email that you can share your address, and they will dispatch a driver to your home or business as soon as possible. And if you don't hear back with that email, you can follow up with me. We were able to prioritize Mesa Village after Barry had brought it to our attention, and they were able to bring a dispatch a driver over to that site. And then on a different note, Christmas tree recycling will take place at Miramar Landfill until January 23rd, and they're open during the daylight hours, so between about 5 a.m. and 4 p.m. All natural trees are accepted, no artificial trees. So that's pretty much it. And I'll put some of that information I had mentioned in the chat in case you have any follow-up.
All right, does anyone have a question for Michaela? Okay.
Barry, one quick question on the group
Yes.
chat, which I think would be worthy for everybody to know the answer. It's yeah, there you go. Thanks, Officer Santos.
Yes.
And again, kudos to NPD and the hot team. If you do see a homeless individual, please report the location and ask you a couple questions on Get It Done. You can use the website, or you can download the app, and that would be the best. That would be the best method.
And Michaela and I have spoken with Homeless Outreach Team, and they are specifically checking the Get It Done app for these reports. So it's not where your report's got to go to some office downtown that sorts through it and then sends it out a couple of days later. They are monitoring the reports regarding homeless encampments and other issues related to homelessness so that they can respond more quickly. All right, thank you, Michaela. Next up, from County Supervisor Tara Lawson-Remer's office, Amanda Berry.
Thanks, Barry. Hi, everyone. Good to see you again. Again, my name is Amanda Berry, she, her, and I'm representing Supervisor Tara Lawson-Remer today. I want to wish you all a happy new year. It's great to see you all on Zoom still. And so I wanted to stop by, give a little bit of an update. It's related to some questions that we get frequently about mobile crisis response teams. And how the supervisor is really taking action to ensure that community members experiencing a mental health crisis get the response that they need by expanding the mobile crisis response teams countywide. We know that there's a pretty broad consensus that armed law enforcement responding to people experiencing mental health crises depletes public safety resources while also making communities and officers less safe. That's why back in April, Supervisor Lawson-Remer and Chair Nathan Fletcher championed an expansion of an alternative approach known as mobile crisis response teams. They're composed of a mental health clinician, a peer support specialist, and a case manager who's dispatched to respond when someone's in a mental health crisis. As of December 8th, the response teams are fully operating across the county. And the goal is to have them integrated with 911 so that trained dispatchers can assess who's most qualified to respond given the call. The 911 integration is currently operational with National City and Chula Vista. And then for the remaining jurisdictions, until that MOA is formalized, anyone who doesn't feel comfortable calling 911, and until that time, the number to call for someone experiencing a mental health crisis is the Access and Crisis line. It's 888-724-7240, and I can put that number in the chat too. The county is going to be putting together a broad public awareness campaign in January, so you'll start seeing that fairly soon. That really encourages folks to share that information with family and friends and loved ones and neighbors, because it really can save lives and get people connected to treatment. I have always more information to share. Of course, get signed up on our newsletter if you're not there already. We send out a weekly update, and I'm happy to take any questions from folks here. I don't see any, Barry, but I'm around, and I'll put my email in the chat if anybody has any questions for me, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you, Amanda. Next up, State Senator Tony Atkins' office, Diana Lara.
Hi, everyone. Happy New Year. It's great to see all of you. And Barry, I did look at the Victim Compensation Fund. I do not believe, unfortunately, it covers victims of these arson incidents, but I did email our public safety liaison in this meeting. I'm sure they'll get back to me tomorrow just to verify, and I will pass along that information if there's something that the state can do. So thank you for providing that information. And also, it's talking about parks. I just wanted to let the Mira Mesa Town Council know that as part of the 2021 state budget in December, $25 million will be put to use in San Diego County and the city of San Diego for providing more parks and outdoor spaces. So that funding is coming to San Diego. The state of California really saw the need with COVID of not having enough public spaces for families. So that is good news. And along with the new year comes the new opportunity for businesses that are interested in applying for tax credits and grants. Today, the California Completes Tax Credits and California Competes Grants Program application started. I can go ahead and send that information in the chat, These programs allow companies to compete for tax credits based on factors including projected jobs created, average wage, and economic impact. There is $140 million available in tax credits and $120 million available in grant funding. The application does close January 24th. And if you go on to our website, the sd39.senate.ca.gov, there is 3 different webinars that you can apply to get more information on these programs. One January 5th, 13th, and the 18th. And today was the first day of the legislative session in California. So Senator Tony Atkins is back in Sacramento. Unfortunately, with COVID, our office remains closed, but we are available via phone, Zoom, and email. And even though we're in a new year, that does not mean that we are working on issues of the past. We are still working around the clock to get EDD cases resolved of folks that applied in 2020 and 2021, and having good progress with that. And also, if you did not receive your Golden State stimulus and you do qualify, please send me an email so we can get that resolved. And I think that is all I have for you today. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, Donna, thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Last on our list, but not certainly last, from the office of Congressman Scott Peters, Anthony Nguyen. I don't believe I saw Anthony here tonight. Okay, we're going to move on. Open forum. I do not have any requests for open forum. Let's see. I do have one. We're going to go ahead and recognize Tommy Howe.
Thanks, Barry. I appreciate it. Good evening, everyone. My name is Tommy Howe, San Diego County Planning Commissioner running for San Diego City Council in District 6. I apologize that I was only able to dial into this meeting a little bit late this evening. We have had a very busy evening, unfortunately, with a number of endorsement meetings happening with the County Democratic Party, and several of them occurred on the same night. So again, I apologize for my tardiness, but at any rate, I think you've heard me speak a lot about our infrastructure issues that we have here in District 6. I've spoken a lot about the roads, but also there's concerns about housing. We have about 6,000 new units of housing going online in the next several years here in Mira Mesa. Very, very little bit is what could be called anything close to being affordable housing. It's primarily market rate housing, but these days market rates coming into about $800,000, $900,000. It's pretty expensive. We need to really rethink housing and how we wind up doing that here in the city of San Diego. It may wind up being something akin to ensuring that additional affordable units are put into new construction, and maybe repurposing some of the areas up at Miramar and some of these empty office parks that could be used for other purposes. The greenest building is always the one that's already been built before. So we really haven't had much of a chance to talk about these issues, but I'm hoping that the Mira Mesa Town Council will at some point wind up doing some kind of a forum so we can speak at length about a lot of the issues that we're facing, not only here in Mira Mesa, but in the new boundaries of District 6. But of course, Mira Mesa remains the largest community in it. And of course, it also remains, as I like to say, the nucleus of District 6. But most importantly, let's fix our roads and let's get the infrastructure back up to speed. It's been way, way, way too long. Once we get Gold Coast and Parkdale rebuilt, there's a lot of other roads, Pisces, Stanfield Circle, Ambassador. I can go down the list. I've walked down most of them. And if I haven't knocked on your door yet or my volunteers already, chances are we probably will in the next couple of weeks. Anyways, great seeing everyone tonight. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Tommy Howe. I've been endorsed by Supervisor Tara Lawson-Remer. My website is tommyhowe.com, H-O-U-G-H, here in the heart of San Diego in District 6, neighborhoods first. Thanks for your time tonight.
Thank you, Tommy. I see Marv Miles has his hand up.
I just wanted to talk about a couple things. First of all, I did post on Nextdoor about rejuvenating or renewing our neighborhood watch in Mira Mesa. It's obviously today with all the fires and things that are going on, I think it's really something important. Barry and I have talked about it, a number of us have talked about it. And obviously Christina Santos will be glad to do that. So I think we really need to do a push, be able to start obviously one house or one community, one neighborhood at a time. And I'm pretty experienced about that. So I know Christina and I both could do basically a nice little presentation. It's more of a party than it is anything else. We're not going to tell things that you don't know already. So I don't know how the town council wants to do it, but I think it's something we really need to emphasize. So, and the second thing is that I put it out with a number of people. I think it's a disgrace from our local television stations that our Mira Mesa High School, it was not even mentioned in all of our, our Rose Bowl parade. It's like, I had people that had said, oh, I had to go to KTLA to be able to get that kind of stuff. So I have sent an email to KUSI, shame on them. I've quite a bit of things with them. And I just said, I can't believe that you have, I think they are the only high school in all of San Diego County that was invited again for a second time. So I'm kind of PO'd about, really, and I don't want to get into like, well, if it was La Jolla, they'd be on there, but I just think it was a real gaffe, and I sent that on to them. It's real disappointed that they didn't follow through. And obviously you have time to correct yourself and maybe do a segment all about how well they've done, and they won awards and things like that. So it's my 2 cents. I'm just a little torqued that, was an oversight would be a nice way to say it.
Thanks, Mark, for standing up for us. And as far as Neighborhood Watch, the town council did put out some blasts a couple of months ago asking for residents to get involved. And we got about 5 people responding. So we're going to do another push and try to get residents who have been concerned about fires and other issues that are cropping up, see if we can get some more involvement, because it's a proven fact that neighborhoods with strong neighborhood watch programs have lower rates of crime, and lower rates of crime lead to lower insurance bills. So we'd love to see that happen. We'll put out another push this week. Marv is a great supporter of the program. He'll be working with us on that. Officer Santos is involved. We are going to make this work. I did see one last hand go up. It looks like
Kent.
Kent.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you had just called me. Sorry, I just stepped away because the little one was in the room. Good evening, everyone. My name is Kent Lee, candidate running for San Diego City Council here in District 6. And just wanted to come back and say hi, especially because I know that there's some new faces this evening. We've been proud to run a strong campaign so far, and are obviously looking to connect with neighbors and to earn your support. I have been a Mira Mesa resident for just over 15 years, and my wife and I are raising 2 young kids here, ages 2 and 4. I would even note just that if I were to be elected, I'd be the only council member serving the city of San Diego with young kids. I have been serving on the Mira Mesa Community Planning Group for the last 9 years. And I've also been volunteering and serving in various nonprofit capacities throughout San Diego. I run an organization called Pacific Arts Movement, which presents the San Diego Asian Film Festival, but also serve on UC San Diego's Chancellor's Community Advisory Board, as well as co-chair of the San Diego Asian Pacific Islander Coalition. We're proud to have earned the endorsements of Council President Sean Elo Rivera, Council President Pro Tem Monica Montgomery Stepp, as well as other elected officials and community leaders and business leaders all throughout San Diego. So look forward to returning always. I'm going to drop my info in the chat just so for those who are interested in learning more about my campaign, I have an opportunity to reach out and connect, and hope there's an opportunity to meet many of you in the months ahead. So thank you. Again, my name is Kent Lee, running for San Diego City Council in District 6.
Thank you, Kent. One last hand up. This will be our final open forum. Tom and Bronadur.
Okay, I found it. Okay, I put in an address in the chat room for the Wildlife Research Institute. It's a organization that's called Hawkwatch. You guys know I'm involved with rattlesnakes and all other slithering little animals that run around in your backyard. Well, every Saturday in January and February is an event at the Western Research Institute, where they show raptors, the birds of prey. And it's very interesting. If you like watching birds of prey of all types, you got to be there. And it's from 9:30 to 12 o'clock. And I'll be there with all my other snakes that are indigenous to San Diego, at least a lot of them, not all of them. And it's a lot of fun. So if you like birds of prey, come on out. If you like snakes, come on out. I'll let you hold them. We'll play with them. You can hold them around your neck. You know, everybody likes a snake. They're the only ones that can curl up around you and give you love. Everything else just sits on you. So there you have it.
Thank you, Tom. All right, that's the end of our open forum session. We have a couple of quick committee reports. Treasurer report, Jonathan Lee.
I sent this off, but not much has happened this last month or this year. We've gone from 64,000 down to 57,000, and most of it's been on insurance and scholarships, about 3,000 on scholarships, and the rest on insurance administrative. So I'm hoping that this year we can do better because we can actually have some events and bring some money in. So that's my report.
Thank you, Jonathan. And as usual, we're putting together the budget for the year, which we will present to the membership next month for approval. Thank you. Banner District, Jennifer, I don't believe she's here tonight. And membership, Yvonne had to step away. There's an illness in the family. She will bring us a report next month. And we are reinstituting our newsletter. The first edition will go out in advance of next year's meeting and next month's meeting. We're going to be sending out an email to all of our elected officials and other groups that participate on a regular basis. Let you know when the deadline is for articles to make it into the newsletter. And with that, we're going to call it an early evening. We went through a lot of material tonight, and we will keep you updated. Officer Santos will be in touch with us with answers to the questions that you had regarding the fires and other issues. I want to thank everyone who is here tonight, everyone from our elected officials' offices, everyone from the various community organizations, our board members. Happy New Year to all of you. Here's hoping that we get to see a lot more of each other in person this year. And then we get back, as Jonathan mentioned, to a little more of life as pre-COVID and some events where we can celebrate together. Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Night.
Bye.